So we're coming to understand that gaming has its share of casualties. In our trial, a father lost access rights to his 2 young boys. But it can become tragic. In 2015, a mother and father in Quebec lost their 14-year-old boy to suicide. And they're convinced that cyber addiction had a huge part to play in their son's death. Experts have written about gaming. They seem to agree that gaming is a problem when children acquire a huge sense of self-esteem online, where they actually compensate, or rather overcompensate, for their insecurities by spending an excessive amount of time on screens and online, the place they go, in order to feel better about themselves, relevant to themselves and to the world. The children today capture a feeling in the online world that they can't replicate in real life. And then children gradually erase themselves from the real world. Nothing in the world today can seem to match the engrossing appeal, the intense color, the sharp contrast, the magnetism, the vivacity of what our children are consuming on their screens. Because the world is slower, it's duller. This world is less immediately gratifying. Gaming has a massive effect on dopamine secretion. Let's weigh in on that a little bit.
When someone experiences pleasure from a delicious food, winning a gamble, or from a cherished video game, dopamine, the pleasure hormone, is secreted from a little area in the center of the brain called the nucleus accumbens and travels to another area called the ventral tegmental area. This signals reward. One study showed that teens that played many more hours of video games had a larger and more active nucleus accumbens area and more dopamine secretion during gameplay. This suggests they have an altered reward pathway. This may have implications for their tendency for developing addictions in other spheres.
Wow. Think about that. As you're playing, the brain is changing. And when you're overplaying, it's changing in ways that are harmful. We don't let our children know that it's okay to be bored, and that boredom is actually quite healthy. It's a place to wander, to create, and dare we say it, it's a place to rest. Today's screens are everywhere. They're in cars. They're in our lineups. Even my dentist has Netflix on in the chair for his patients while he drills their teeth. Okay, that's a pretty phenomenal perk. But it's okay to be bored. Video gaming has to be part of co-parenting. Just like the amount of junk food your kids are going to have. Good luck convincing your ex that your kid can never eat burgers or hot dogs. It's not going to happen. The answer can't be prohibition, it's moderation. And don't expect your ex to adhere to the exact same video game diet as yours. But agree on these principles. 1. How many minutes can they spend gaming once power is on? 2. When during the day can the power be on? You'll agree that you don't want your kids playing games first thing in the morning. And 3. What kind of games are your children allowed to play? Now, I'm not preaching and trying to be high and mighty. I have an 8-year-old, and he has a Nintendo. What's he like when I try to set limits on screen time? Remember that scene in The Exorcist when the girl is trying to levitate off the bed? Being a parent is hard, but who promised it would be easy? That's why it's so rewarding. You have to appreciate the contrast. You're not climbing Everest in 140 characters. So what do you think? Does this touch a chord? It's a story, and we all have stories to tell. So thank you for listening to mine. And if you feel the need to share, please feel free to do so. And in the meantime, I'll be happy to see you on the next 9 a.m. Thank you.